Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with ReZero season 4 episode number 6 reaction. Alright, the previous episode, we were inside the player's library, and there was a lot of books who a lot of people cannot read, but turns out the only people who can read the books are people who know those people. Like Suber was able to read Typhon's book, and I think like Judas was able to read one of the people that he knew their book, and so that was the whole thing about the Book of the Dead. No, not Book of the Dead. I guess that's what they call it, right? The books of the dead. So and then we were able to meet. I'm assuming the Reinhardt's ancestor, the first Sword Saint, who is there in front of us as a trial, and I guess we'll have to defeat him. So yeah, let's see what happens. Let us get started. I'll be putting the timer over here, sync the timer to the original video, and watch it alongside my reaction. And yeah, let us begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, here we go. So many different expressions. Yeah, this was the first meeting. He's like, how dare he? Or obviously, the first impression Julius had of Super was not that good. Hmm. Oh my gosh, still. Stick swinger? Right. Stick swinger versus sword swinger. Let's go. Whoa. Hey, yo. Oh god. Damn. I don't think you will. Oh, wait. That's what the chopstick was for? Yo. Oh, wait. Yeah, they don't have any concept of chopsticks here. I forgot. Bro, he cannot move his so. But. Wait, so does this imply that Flugel gave him those chopsticks? Because I'm guessing Flugel is from our world. Good lord! Bro, chopsticks. Ah, ow! Oh my, no, 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 no! Your eyes! Bro. My sword? Your chopsticks! Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Oh my god. Yeah. Good lord. Oh, okay. Kick. Oh, what? Yeah. All right. Damn. Oh boy. Damn. That is crazy. Oh lord. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh wow. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. All right, bro. I don't understand what you're saying. Yeah, let's play rock paper scissors. You know, I think that will be a. Tricia. Tricia. Whoa. Damn. Okay. All right, it's coming from the back as well now. All right. Oh, right. Yeah, this is not good. Yeah. Oh, damn. Wait, what's that? She just made some tonfas. Those exist in this world? I guess. Yeah, he's not moving. Crazy. Oh! Oh, using that opportunity? Yeah. Damn! Oh! Leg! Go for his legs! What? Yeah? Yeah? Oh my god! Oh, alright. Wait, did he move? No, he still didn't move. He's still not moving. Okay, he moved. Come on, that clearly that his legs. Yeah, those won't work on her. he he thought she was gonna act like those anime girls. Yeah, yeah, he moved. His legs went like this. Yeah. All right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you have to. I was gonna say. All right. Oh, whoa. Yeah. What? We have to climb the. Oh. Wait. Yeah. Are you? What? We thought this was a group project. No, I don't think. And not only that, but yeah, but more about his mental state. Like he got defeated. Like he's gonna recover. But I was gonna say that like she was acting erratically, like Echidna, not Anastasia. Well, okay, yeah, okay. Blue Lightning. This is Seguin. Mad Prince. Damn, Alibel. Yeah. The hell are you doing? Yeah. uh, wait. Oh my god. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh wait, so she blocked out she blocked out that memory. Ah, here we go. Is gonna fall unconscious again. Right, okay, yeah, that was the name. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah, Raid Astrea. Yep. It's like, yeah, no wonder he was that strong. Oh my god. Wait, he went to challenge him again. What about his sword? Oh, he took the other sword. Oh my god. Okay, I don't think he can, like, this sword. I'm guessing this sword is somehow special. So I don't think he can break this sword. Oh god, hey, what the hell? Oh, bruh, he's kneeing him. 3 months? Not you. Ah, damn, this is like a whole parallel between, when Julius defeated Subaru. Damn. Oh god. That's heavenly sword. Oh no 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 no. This is, oh wow. He's actually wielding it like a sword. Oh, what's happening? Oh, okay. So what happened? He stopped before he hit him? Because I feel like if he got hit directly, he would have been dead. I think he kind of realized. Yeah, there you go. Hmm. I do wonder who's gonna win, like Reinhardt versus Raid Astria. Like if that happens. Hmm. Yeah. Mhm. It's all right. Everyone's gonna fall here, bruh. There you go. Good lord. Mm. Hmm. Yeah. I was literally saying this is it's a whole parallel between Subaru and Julius when they were fighting. Yeah, he can speak from experience. Oh, damn. Right. So okay, that's it. I guess you can say in the scene that we saw at the very beginning, Yuri is looking at Subaru like doing that whole spectacle, as he said that at that moment everyone in that room probably, like, that was like a very such a like absurd thing to do in front of such a solemn, ceremony, and like not ceremony, but like, such a place. um and he made everyone, even himself, his enemy, because when as soon as he did that, Subaru probably realized that, yeah, what the hell am I doing? Like, in that moment, like in this situation, I was told to be, because Emilia, I'm pretty sure Emilia told him, as far as I can remember, Emilia told him to stay at the mansion, not come, and this and that, all that, but Subaru still came. If, as far as I can remember, in season 1, that's what happened, and did that whole thing. So everyone, even Emilia at that moment, was not really happy about that whole situation, as to how that went, you know um and even he himself. But Julius was the only one, as he says that, like, I was like, you probably think I'm lying, but I was the only one who was at that moment. What did he say, the exact words? Wait a minute. No one would believe there was someone in that hall who was deeply moved by that. So as he said, so in that moment, like, I guess you could say that Julius, who, as we saw, like, he's someone who has kind of suppressed his, true, in that moment we saw the moment with Reinhardt, that little flashback where we saw, like, the person that he, he defeated after so many, tries, and Reinhardt just came and just defeated him, like, in like in a heartbeat. The things that Red Astor was telling him, that, oh, like, you will never be able to surpass me, like, and all these things that has been told to him, he was someone who just, like, I guess, kept it within himself, never really, like, it did bother him, but he was someone who just kept it hidden. But so I guess seeing Subaru kind of, like, just do whatever in front of a situation, in a situation like that, act according to his, I guess, instincts, you could say, like, probably moved him in that moment for a while, where he was like, damn, like, like, this takes so much, courage and bravery, and like that kind of thing, I guess you could say. um and like, being true to himself, that is also another thing that he probably was, like, fascinated by, because that was the thing that he never really did, like, that is, be true to himself. Like, he kept things suppressed, and like, played a role, and played a role of being a strong knight, and didn't show his weakness and all that. So seeing Subaru being true to himself in front of, like, literally everyone in the country, like all the big wigs, and everyone is there, like Roswell was there, like the all the other, like, the candidates, like, were there, like the princess candidate or whatever they called them, I forgot, like Emilia, like Krush, like Anastasia, all of them were there, Priscilla. um so in front of so many people, the fact that he acted by, as his true self, while he was someone who never was able to do that, or who was playing a role, that was maybe like a it gave him like a like a thing, like, it kind of made him, like, be fascinated by that moment, of Subaru. So yeah, in the very beginning, when they showed that scene, I thought, like, when he kind of, like, clutched his hand, Julius, when he was seeing that scene, I thought, like, he was going to be like, oh, how, like, how dare he disrespect everyone in that moment, because, like, as a knight, in that moment, who has gone through so rigorous training, so many, like, like, discipline and everything, like, seeing something like that, obviously it is pretty normal to react like that, like, oh, how dare you come in this situation, stand in front of us where all of us are standing, and act like a clown, you know so that's what I thought he was going to, like, that was his first impression. But as we see at the end, It was actually the opposite. Even though everyone at that moment probably thought that, he was the only one who thought that, damn, this is this is crazy. And yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, like that kind of thing. Anyways, I don't know, like this is what's my interpretation. Like my interpretation is basically like Julius being someone who has been kind of acting tough, playing a role, kind of, like being acting as if he's strong, which is something that, like Subaru also did and everything. But seeing like Subaru act as his true self in front of everyone in that moment, gave him like a brief of like, a brief moment where he kind of respected Subaru at that moment. But then obviously he then following all of that, he ended up beating him up in front of everyone and all that. But like that brief moment was something like that. I don't know. That at least that's how I interpret this scene. Maybe there's more to it. I don't know. But yeah, that was like the whole Julius Subaru, like like that dynamic, which which has been building up from season one to here now. Now another thing I kind of mentioned where like it was like a whole parallel between where Julius defeated Subaru and Subaru was like, oh, I have to prove myself, I have to do something, and I cannot go down, and I have to do this all alone, and like that type of feeling. And he gets up, Julius ends up beating him down again, being like, oh, you cannot do anything, you're worthless, this and that, like how dare you come here in front of us, like stand in front of us and act like this, all these things that happen at that moment. Julius and Subaru being frustrated, trying to prove himself, trying to be like, no, I'm not a clown. But in that process, him acting in such a way that makes other people think he is a clown, at that moment, like getting up, like doing like some, as far I don't exactly remember what he did, but I remember he did like some petty tricks, like throwing sand or something. I just don't remember exactly the details of what Subaru did at that moment when he fought Julius, but it was something like that. He did stuff like that, trying to get Julius off guard, but Julius was not really affected, cementing the fact in front of everyone that, yeah, he's acting this petty in front of a knight, who's beating him up like just one-sidedly, and he's acting in this way, still he's losing, making people think he's more of a clown. And Subaru realizing that in that moment, that, oh, I'm making a fool of myself, but he cannot back down because he has to prove himself. And he tries to do that, getting beaten up even more and solidifying the flat fact that he cannot do anything at that moment. And that frustration and everything, like it's like a cycle which makes him try to get up, try to prove himself, but then get beaten down, and him being like, oh, I'm digging myself a hole, but as I'm digging myself a hole and I'm going deeper into it, there's no like way to get out of here, so I must continue in this direction, trying to at least redeem myself, but then again getting beaten down, digging himself a bigger hole. Like it's a cycle. It's a cycle of, like a moment of helplessness where you're trying to prove yourself, but you just cannot, and you're realizing the more you try to prove yourself, the more you're actually going in the opposite direction, and it's making your situation worse. But you cannot back out at this moment since you've gone too damn deep. That kind of thing. And yeah, that was basically what happened to Julius in this episode as well. As we were seeing, like Raid Astrea was like beating him up with chopsticks, and he was like, oh no, I cannot go down, but then he like gets punched and goes unconscious. So that was a brief moment when he couldn't do anything because he was just unconscious. But then as soon as you got up, as soon as he regained consciousness, he's like, nah, I have to prove myself. And like I said, that whole cycle, like of going too deep, trying to prove yourself, and then digging yourself in a even deeper hole, and there's no way to come out, so you continue in that way, trying to prove yourself again, and the same thing repeats, taking you even deeper. And that's why he just goes in front of Raid Astrea and being like, I like, like I'm going to challenge you again. And he did that again and almost got himself killed, but I guess they didn't really show what exactly happened there. Like, what happened? Like, did Subaru come, and that's why did Raid Astrea stop? I don't think Julius got hit, because if he got hit by that attack, he would have been dead. you know. So I don't think he got hit. So I'm assuming Red Astria stopped. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know how he got out of that like situation. Other than that, maybe seeing Subaru come, like Red Astria just stopped his attack midway or something. I don't know. Either way, but like Subaru came in and saved him, and he again kind of blacked out, I guess, for a moment, as you can see. And then when he regains consciousness, he's being carried down by Subaru. And then again he's like, nah, I have to prove myself, and he tries to like free himself and just like he's like, oh, like I know what I'm doing, like you guys go and like inform Anastasia and Amelia and whatnot. I'm going to walk down the stairs on my own, you know and obviously Subaru, as you can see, realized exactly what's happening because he has been in this situation before, and he knows that if Julius goes down this path, like he is going to end up isolating himself from everyone else, and he's going to go down the same path that Subaru took in that moment, you know. And we all remember what happened with Subaru at that moment. Like, if you remember, like that was season one where after getting beaten down by Julius, he he was like, no, I have to prove myself, and he was like all bitter and everything. Emilia was like, you have to stay in the mansion, don't, like, or something like that happens. Emilia even starts talking to him and all that, and then he, like, and then that whole thing with Rem happens, where he gets kidnapped, right, or something like that happens. Oh no, oh god, I'm mixing up the scenes. Oh no, I think he goes to Krush after that, asking for like support or something, and he fails even there as well. And then yeah, when coming back or something, that's when that whole thing happened where Subaru gets kidnapped and Rem tries to save him, and Rem gets killed, and return by death happens again. And then he's like, and then that infamous scene of I love Emilia. I and that was the part where you could say that Rem was the one who saved him from going and repeating and going down the same path over there, of trying to isolate himself and trying to do everything on his own. And yeah, and then little by little from that point onwards, you can see, like, after that whole I love Emilia scene, after Rem, like, like kind of like saved him over there, things start getting better little by little. Like, that's when, like, Subaru starts kind of like relying on others, or Rem in this situation, and starts kind of walking down the same, like a proper path again, tries to get out of that deep hole that he has dug himself into. um so yeah, but it took a long amount of time, and a lot of pain and a lot of deaths, for that to actually happen. So Subaru knows, like, the pain that you have to go through to at least reach a proper path and realize that, oh, this is not the path I should be walking in. I should rely on others and take support from others. um and like, the funny thing about Subaru is, like, even though, like, that happened with that whole Rem scene happened and everything, and he did kind of realize, like, okay, like, I'm not alone in this. It took him 2 seasons, I think, even after that, for him to properly realize that, oh yeah, I can ask help from others. Because, like, the thing about his, like, return by death was, like, nobody could believe him, or even if he tells, he's just going to get killed, like, that whole thing happens and his heart stops and whatnot. So he just couldn't really ask others for help. Like, asking others for help wasn't even an option in his head, because he's like, yeah, I cannot do anything unless and until I, like, explain my situation and all that. So in season 2, I think, it was like that moment when, like, when he finally realizes that, oh, I will ask people for help, was the scene with Otto, where that happens, where Otto was like, oh, like, I'm your friend, like, ask me for help, like, and it doesn't matter if you're not able to explain what is going on, just ask, like, just be as vague as you can, I will trust you and I will help you out, like. So that moment, so it took him so long for, like, him to actually rely properly on others, and then, like, things started going in a better direction. Super didn't want Julius walking that same path, and, the thing is, Julius doesn't have return by death. So if he dies, he dies. If you remember, Subaru died so many times trying to walk the path of, like being alone and trying to do everything on his own. Literally in this episode only, I feel like Julius would have died here in front. When Red Astra would have wiped him out completely, and he warned him as well. So like Subaru had to like make sure that Julius doesn't walk the same path, because he'd just die. And if he dies, it's like like what's gonna happen? Like he doesn't have return by death. Like Subaru, like if Subaru has to save Julius, then Subaru will have to take his own life then and trigger return by death. So yeah, he's like, nope, I need to like help him out in this moment. Otherwise, he's going to walk the same path I took. And that's why Subaru at the end, like even if Julius was like, oh, don't like like let me, I can walk on my own and this and that, Subaru goes and grabs his like shoulder, and he's like come on, like I can plainly see how hunched over you are. And he's like, yeah, I know what it feels. Like I might not be able to feel exactly as you feel, but I do know. Yeah, so I'm not gonna let you go down these stairs alone. Right. Okay, there you go, and that's what happened in today's episode. Or like the main focus. Now I talked about like the Julius and Subaru section. Let's talk about a few other things that happened in today's episode. First and foremost, obviously, it was like confirmed he's Raid Astria, the first Soul Saint, and yeah. Now, another thing, he has chopsticks. Now, like here's the thing, he calls it chopsticks, so I'm assuming he probably, when he was alive, came in contact with someone who had this knowledge about the original world, the real world. So Flugel is one of them, I'm assuming. So I'm not sure if he had direct contact with Flugel. I think he must have had direct contact with Flugel, right? Because otherwise, why would he be here in this library? This is a library that like Flugel like is heavily involved with. So, and he's here after his death. He's dead, I'm assuming. Like this is like some sort of a, I don't know, like his spirit or something. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but he's dead. Like he's dead and he's here somehow. Um, so he must have had some sort of connection with Flugel, and yeah, and he calls it chopsticks. Now another thing, I like when they mentioned it, I realized even the dress that he's wearing, it's like a like the Japanese, I don't know what you call it, like the yukata type of like dress that he's wearing. Yeah. They showed a few other characters in today's episode as well, like the four, like four, was it four, or like like the the strongest of like the other places. Here we go. Reinhardt's the strongest in this kingdom. There are one like him in each of the other countries as well. 3 countries. So Ram says, the top general of the Wallachia Empire, the Blue Lightning, Cecilis Sigmund. Now, this person is also wearing like some sort of like a yukata looking thing, right? Like a haori or something he has on. So this is also like like Japan, like it's Japanese, like like, right? Then we have Mad Prince of the Holy Kingdom of Gusteco. Right, this guy's wearing something else. Never mind. Here's another character. Uh, the city-state of Kararagi. The name as well, Kararagi. It's like so Japan, like right? Admirer, Halibel. And yeah, he's wearing like the whole dress that he's wearing is like a yukata, or like like something like that. And this is a wolf. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's like like, so I'm assuming like all these people here got, or not these people, but them and their cities maybe got like in some contact with someone who is from the real world. So the person who best fits this description for now, at least, is Flugel, because he knows constellations, and like all these things. And like I'm assuming he's somehow related to Subaru Flugel. You know, maybe like something like his someone from his like like in some sort of other like past, not past, but like his future version of Subaru or something. I'm assuming. Um, so you know, yeah, I guess like I'll have to keep these in mind because up until now I never really thought much about it. But yeah, like all these things which are related to Japan, like be it dress, be it like things like chopsticks, and like these constellations and everything. Constellations are not really exclusive to Japan. It's like obviously constellations are constellations, but it's related to the real world. Anything that is like that, you like up until now I didn't really think that much about it, but I'll have to keep that in mind that you have to keep an eye on these because that will mean there's culture from the real world here, which was definitely brought in by someone or came like and things are like this here because of some sort of cultural exchange. So like that thing. All right. Anyways, so yeah, so that's another thing, like the whole chopsticks thing that he has. Now, obviously, he didn't use his sword, so we can kind of guess what would have happened if he used a sword. He used the chopsticks as a sword at the very end, and that would have probably ended Julius's life immediately over there. you know, that is crazy. And Emilia was also able to, like, defeat him by just, like taking him off guard and making like a condition where, oh, if you move from your position, you're gonna lose. So yeah, so he's too damn strong. Like like yeah, you cannot really do anything against someone like this. So yeah, we had to fight him, like based on some technical like loophole, find some technical loophole against him. And yeah, now I do wonder what's going to happen from here onwards because Emilia has passed the test, but as he said, everyone else will have to defeat him as well. Like how the hell is this going to happen? Like like Julius, maybe somehow by posing some conditions on him like Emilia did or something, he might be able to win. You know, Beatrice, yeah, I can see her winning as well, somehow, some way or the other. Anastasia maybe as well. How the hell is Subaru going to win? Unless Subaru teams up with someone. Maybe that will be something like that. Like Subaru will be like, yeah, like me and Beatrice are a team. You know, something like that. Maybe that's how we'll be able to defeat him and then go past. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're just stuck here. Except Emilia, everyone's just stuck here. Otherwise, right. Okay. Now that was that. Okay, so now let's talk about the battle between him and Emilia. So Emilia posed a condition. She was like, "Oh, you cannot like get like move from your place, and I'll fight you. And if you move from your place, I'll win." And he at first he was like, "Ah, what the hell?" And then he was like, "All right," because like Emilia was like asking him nicely and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Um, right, but obviously he's too damn strong. Emilia uses his ice, uses her ice like swords and everything from every single direction, and he still like wins against everything. But then the moment where, oh my god, this part is crazy. He like he kind of grazed with the chopsticks, like grazed Emilia's chest, and he thought that Emilia's going to act like, obviously be like, oh, what the hell, like something like that. That was in his head. So he lowered his guard so damn much at that moment that Emilia just clobbered him with a ice like block or something like that. And yeah, I guess that made him like move from his position. And you know what? Like, yeah, like he had no way of seeing are realizing that Emilia is someone who doesn't even realize what the hell happened. You know, because here we go. Yeah, he's like, perks of fighting a hottie. Don't get mad over a little thing like, and he's like, yeah, she's probably gonna get mad, scream at him or something, like, and be like, what the hell? How dare you? Like, so he lowered his guard completely, thinking it was going in that direction. But Emilia was like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, it's just like we were just fighting, nothing else. Took that opportunity and just clobbered him. Right. Yeah, and there you go. In the end, he was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Like, who brought you up?" Yeah, Emily was like, but all you did was touch me. I mean, you were wide open. Oh, screw you. How the hell were you brought up anyway? Right. What were your parents thinking? Alright, anyways. So there you go. That was that. And Emilia won that. But obviously, in the end, he was like, alright, so you guys come. Like, Emilia can go, but you guys have to defeat me. And there's like that whole damn staircase. Right. Oh, another thing, I swear, what's gonna happen to Rem? Like even if somehow we are all able to defeat him, what about Rem? Yeah, so I think we will have to make some sort of like an agreement with Raid Astria and be like, you know what? Like, we'll make teams and fight you. If you win, that all of us can pass, or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what what happens after this. Now, another thing they kind of mentioned here, if you remember, not remember, but it was pretty blatant, is that Anastasia's actions. Now, when Reinhardt, not Reinhardt, sorry, Julius was getting beaten up, and there were so many situations where Julius really was going to like get some crazy injury. Like, there was one moment where Raid Astro almost poked out his eyes. In those like very like dangerous moments, Anastasia reacted like that. Now, obviously, it's not really Anastasia at that moment. I'm assuming it's Echidna, or the what do you call it? The spirit Echidna. Like, not obviously not that Echidna, like a different Echidna, the other Echidna, the Fox Echidna, yeah, Foxidna or something like that. That Subaru calls her. Um, so right, you can see like those moments made like Echidna so much agitated that she obviously she saved Julius multiple times in those moments, because if she didn't really fire those attacks, Julius would have been blind by now, and a lot of other things would have happened. Um, but the question here is not question, but like what we have to see here is like the way she was acting. Like, she was acting so agitated whenever Julius came into harm that like there's a moment where she like passed out, like by just bleeding through her nose. She just passed out. So I'm assuming this has like I'm guessing like the spirit Echidna like really like I don't know, like loves Julius or something like that. That's the only like like thing I can think of, like other than like like what else? Like, you have to remember that Echidna was there with Anastasia for a very long time, and like that fox muffler that she has, and it is now that she has like like kind of come into the surface. Like, this has happened before as well, as far as I can remember. I think she mentioned that. But like for a big amount of time now, Anastasia cannot come out. So I guess that's why like she is like acting like this whenever Julius is coming into some sort of danger. I don't know. That's because like that's the only thing I can think of for now. Maybe there's some other reason for her acting in such a way, but that's the only thing I can think of now, that she really loves Julius, and that's why in situations of his danger, she acted like that erratically. Um, yeah, but I guess we'll have to wait for her to wake up, and I guess Subaru can ask her like what's up, because this thing got brought up for a moment. Like I don't remember exactly which scene, but there was a scene where they brought up the fact that like Anastasia was acting in a very weird way, you know. So yeah, we'll have to wait for her to wake up and then see what she has to say. Right. So that was another thing I wanted to talk about. What else? Let me see. Uh, okay. Wait. No, I think that is it, right? Yeah, that was it. There wasn't really anything else other than that. I talked about the whole Yuli Subaru situation. I've already discussed about that. So yeah, that was that. Now we will have to figure out how to get out of this situation. Like Emilia did say that, oh, let me go up and see what's up there. But they're like, nope, you shouldn't go there alone. It's very dangerous. Especially for someone like Emilia who is clueless about a lot of things. Right. Anyways, right, and there you go. That was today's episode. Um so that was a really good episode, especially obviously like the whole Subaru and Julius part, where like the episode started with a scene where we are very familiar with Subaru acting like that in front of everyone, and the first meeting that Julius had with Subaru, and it ended in the same way, but in a very different tone, where we got to know apparently Julius was the sole person over there who was fascinated by Subaru's behavior in that moment. As he says, like, nobody would believe me if I say this. There was someone in that hole who was deeply moved by that. Yeah. Yeah, the blowhard who made enemies of everyone in that castle's great hall that day. Um, Even the very man who said it, yeah. Because Subaru himself was also like someone who at that moment was just like, yeah, like he did that and he realized what the hell he did, and how he acted. But he was the only person, Julius, who was fascinated by that moment, because like, again, like I said, at least according to my interpretation, it was not about Subaru acting like that, but more about him, I don't know, like him being his true self, I guess you could say, at that moment in front of such a situation. While Julius was someone who always like kind of like suppressed that, and acted like how a model knight should be. So maybe that was something that made him fascinated, where he saw someone acting like that in front of such a situation, and he was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, if I could have, like, if I could act like this, at least in, like, certain situations, and be more honest with myself, while we have this person who's not even a knight acting like that in front of such a, like such a huge crowd, making almost everyone, his enemy at that moment. Right. Anyways, so that was that, and yeah, there you go. That was today's episode. Right, great episode as always, and obviously the highlight of this episode was the battle. Obviously, like, come on, chopsticks, chopsticks versus swords, crazy. And even at the end, like when Raid Astria wielded the chopsticks as a sword, yeah, that was it. That would have been the end of Julius at that moment. Um, but yeah, like that was one of the, like one of the best, I guess you could say, like fights, you could say, in a way, like chopsticks versus sword kind of situation. And the fact that he was catching every single attack with the chopsticks, like this. just grabbing it like this. And he just destroyed Ulysses' original sword, or the tip of it. Um, yeah, but in the end, um, like Ulysses wasn't able to defeat him. It was a full loss, except Emilia. Obviously, Emilia won against him. Full loss and everything. But I guess you could say this was the moment which, like, Subaru and Julius, they kind of a stronger bond was formed. Julius someone who was walking almost down the same path that once Subaru did, and he probably realized that himself, that this is like a same kind of situation. Like, in front of me I have this huge behemoth, like belittling me, like making me fall down, and insulting me, making me realize how little and puny I am in front of him. Obviously, which was the same thing that happened before, except the behemoth was Julius and the puny insect in front of us was Subaru. The same thing is happening here with Raid Astria and him. And he probably realized like this was probably what Subaru was feeling, and all of these things. And I guess you could say, like, being in the same situation, falling in the same situation as Subaru, like he respected Subaru even before that, like even before today's episode. But I guess living a similar type of situation that Subaru went through and realizing what he might have felt by like experiencing the same thing definitely made him respect Subaru even more. You know, and the fact that even after all of that, even after like when he was acting like Subaru as well, where he was like, I don't need anyone's help, like, and I can walk on my own. The fact that Subaru was like, no, I know what you're like. I might not exactly know what you're going through, or be feeling what you're feeling, but I know that feeling. So I'm not going to let you walk down these stairs. At least, like, I might not be able to help you in the battle, but I can at least help you walk down the stairs and give you a shoulder to lean on. Yeah, there you go. Brilliant episode. And there you go. That was episode number 6. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This is my reaction to episode number 6 of season 4 of ReZero. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Or you haven't subscribed, comment down below anything you want to say and anything you want to let me know, and I'll check them out. That is it, guys. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.